Hello, everyone. This is Isabella with Angel Chantress Love. So today we are playing spiritual whack-a-mole. My guides and angels were showing me that old arcade game as I was just battling all these different energies coming at me. And they were referring to spiritual whack-a-mole, where every time an energy comes up, they want you to rebuke it. So anytime anyone is coming up against you, known or unknown, they want you to play this game and just keep it light, and just recognize that these energies are attacking because you are very powerful and strong, and that puts them in a position of fear and threat. So they're going to attack. So you want to keep it just kind of light and playful. But what this does is if you set your intention that every time something arises that is sending negative intent towards you, that you're bringing forth their immediate and imminent karma every time you rebuke them so that they can learn to behave more appropriately towards you and other people. So we're all going to receive karma for everything we've done. None of us is free of judgment. But the sooner that someone receives that judgment, the better it is for them, because they're going to be more aware of their actions causing that event to occur. It's just like a child in a playground. If they see a child playing with a tricycle and they want the tricycle and they just walk up and steal it and the other kid just smacks them, It's kind of like, you don't have a right to take my stuff. And there are so many beings right now who are destiny stealing. They're going in and they think they have some right to take what is yours by divine right, and without doing any of the work, of course. It's always easier when someone else does all the work to get to that goal and you just tag yourself to their coattails, but that's not allowed. So we want to make sure that we're not just being offended by these energies, but we're actually taking spiritual action towards them by saying, no, this is not acceptable to me. A lot of times we don't like confrontation, so we'll just kind of step away from it or kind of agree with someone for whatever it is that they're saying. But in doing that, you're actually tying yourself into that energy. So if you do not agree with somebody, you need to make it clear that you do not agree with them. And if it's someone who's more threatening for you physically, or you feel like you might be in jeopardy because maybe they're your boss or something and you don't feel like you can speak out, you can always rebuke them in your mind and just let them know, they're going to get the message at some level, because we all are interconnected and we can all feel one another. So it might come through their dream state. They might feel it in your body language. I know somebody who likes to say something and they go, right, am I right? And it's like, no. And even if you are, that offends me because, I have my own mind and I know how to use it. I don't need you to tell me what to think, how to feel, how to express myself. I'm perfectly capable of doing that on my own. And so if that person gets offended, maybe you can point out to them that, you'd like to be able to answer the question yourself and make your own decisions and not be forced to agree with their way of thinking. It's like, you can think that's exciting or cool, but don't tell me that I have to think that or feel that. I had a client once when he got dementia, and I would take him to the doctor's office and he was confused about his age at that point. And so he would just have these fits when they contradicted him. And it got really ugly and he was just screaming at people. And so I sat next to him one day at work, and every time he just brought it up and tried to force me to agree with him, I just let him know it was okay for me to have a different opinion. And he'd just storm off and get all angry and scream and leave. And then he'd come back and he'd sit next to me, and because he always wanted my approval. And it's like, you don't really need my approval, but you also aren't really allowed to be screaming at me either because I have a different opinion than you. He didn't understand that he was incorrect because of his memory loss. So my whole point in trying to get him to break out of that was so that he wasn't, screaming at people in public. And he did eventually calm down and let it go, but it took hours before he was willing to stop pitching a fit about it. So, just make sure that you're not agreeing with something that you don't agree with, because you are actually linking yourself to that energy. So let's work on bringing in the energy of discernment. Yamalanai Yamakanai no Kalamalekano Alavito Laleka. So when you're rebuking energies, you make sure that you're doing that in Jesus' name or through the God in you, however you want to phrase it. But just make it very clear, either verbally or mentally, that you're rejecting that energy. And this can be challenging when we're really busy and distracted all day long by all the things going on, but you'll get used to doing this if you start practicing it. And you'll realize how many times per day that you have picked up a song in the grocery store that is programming your mind to negative events that will occur if you continue singing that over and over again. Or, something that the person at the gas station said to you that kind of upset you, or the person that's bagging your groceries that's kind of being short-tempered with you, or the person that cut you off in traffic. There are so many things that we accept, the guides are saying, that we should not. And they're not wanting you to go out and, be offensive and, flip people off in traffic and get all upset with them. You do want to be forgiving of others and tolerant, of course, but they're wanting you to recognize how many times a day that you conform, they're saying. That you conform to what is going on, and it's something that you really do not want. So usually if I'm driving in traffic and someone cuts me off, I just kind of either verbally or in my head, I'll say, well, that was kind of rude. Maybe next time you could use your turn signal. I just kind of verbally correct them. I would really appreciate it if you gave me a little more space, because you're kind of playing on your phone while you're driving and I can see you swerving around and you're making me very nervous right now. So maybe you could pay attention to driving and just kind of rebuke that energy and say, no, this isn't really acceptable to me. And they were saying something about 1,000 times a day rebuke. So you're going to start to notice how many times a day, once you start practicing this, that you're actually conforming to what's going on, which means you're accepting it. And every time you accept it, you're unintentionally giving permission for others to treat you in a certain way. So let's bring in that energy of course correction, the guides are saying, so that you can be more aware. They want to bring in more awareness so that you know when to course correct. Alamekana hekana yavakana ikotoma alamakayano olamakana isomola alamalekao yamakana yomo alatekano leteko yamakana yono. The guides are reminding me of when I was in, I think it was junior high school, and I had a teacher who was talking about boundaries. He was talking to the class, and he asked me if someone came over to your house and they wanted to smoke in your house, would you allow them to do that? And I told him very clearly, no, I would not, because I'm allergic to cigarette smoke. gives me severe migraines. It's debilitating migraines. So no, I would say they couldn't do that in my house. And then he went to another girl in the class and he asked her, and she was like, well, I wouldn't really like it, but I guess. And he looked at her and he's like, you just gave that person permission. So every time they come to your house now, the next time they won't even ask. They'll just light up a cigarette inside your home because you gave them permission by not telling them no. So I always remembered that lesson, that the moment that somebody does something that you don't like, that affects your personal space, you need to rebuke it immediately. You need to set up that boundary with them because they will take advantage of it. They will continue to push those boundaries with you if they feel like they can. So even though it can be difficult to confront people and they might be offended that you've set that boundary, I know for myself, I don't always like what people say to me, but once they've said it, I know where they stand and it makes it clearer where I stand with them. So I do always respect that. So the guides want you to start getting more comfortable with immediately responding to these situations, because a lot of times they can get really out of control, especially if you're really busy and you worked all day and you come home and you have to deal with something and you're tired and you don't want to. I get it. It can be challenging. You can get overwhelmed very easily in life, but do try to be very clear on what your own boundaries are. And look at your current life and see where you have allowed situations to get out of control. Because you do have control over a lot of the things in life, but you may not have taken control. You may not have secured your position, they're saying. So let's bring in an energy to support that confidence level in looking at where you're at in life, how you would like to respond to others in order to maintain healthy boundaries in your relationships, or simply begin now taking control through creating new healthy boundaries in current relationships and new ones coming through as well. Alamakena hamaeto namakano. Alamakeo namaka alamakeano. Yamakana ito talavalekano. Alamakeo nakalekane. Yamakahona alamekane. Yamakana eomoka alamalekane. Alichikanaka lechekane. Yichakanala eomochala malaichane. I want to thank you for being here and for raising your own energetic vibration. As you do your own work, pay attention to your own path, do your shadow work, clear everything that you can clear. Focus on the highest vibration possible. Move yourself up that emotional ladder as quickly and easily as you can. As you use your discernment, you are actually uplifting every single being on this planet. So please keep doing your work. Thank you for being attentive to your own needs and to the needs of those around you and just raising that vibration constantly. You should be proud of yourself. This has been a very stressful and trying energy that we've been facing on this planet, and it will intensify. So just continue doing everything that you can do to shift that highest vibration and stay focused on your goals. Shut down those singularities, call on the guides and angels, pray without ceasing. They're there to help and support and nurture you. Even if you're feeling all alone and isolated, you are not. You have this community. You are connected energetically always to your guides, to your angels, to God. That support is there for you, but you have to feel it. You need to feel worthy of it, the guides are saying. So focus on how you are divinely connected to God, and that everything that you want to receive, which ultimately is love and acceptance, give that to yourself first and foremost. And as you do that, you'll begin to see the reflection of that energy coming back to you from others. Everyone else is just a mirror, just a reflection of something within you that needs to heal or is reflecting back the love and beauty that you're putting out there. So just remember that and do yourself the kindness of looking into your own eyes every morning and telling yourself that you're loved, sending you love and blessing.